Welcome back into Wake Up America. I'm joined now by entrepreneur, author, and candidate for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek, good morning. It's great to see you again.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Good to have you back on. I'd like to start with the race. And my question is simple. Right now, given where we are about 20 months away from the election in 2024, how do you break through? Because the rest of the media is already covering this like it's a literal two-man race between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis.
The rest of the media has been repeatedly wrong when it comes to covering these presidential elections. I think anything before that first debate in August is irrelevant. 2016 and 2015 teach us that. But where I am right now is about where Donald Trump was in this race, maybe a little bit ahead when he first came down that escalator. I literally started at 0.0% just 7 weeks ago when we launched this campaign. I'm already polling at 3+% nationally and even better in some of the early states. And so I think that this is just the beginning. But I think the people are hungry for solutions. They're hungry for ideas, but they're hungry for a vision and somebody that can execute it too. That's what I'm bringing to the table, taking Trump's America First agenda in many ways, even further than Donald Trump did, doing it based on first principles rather than vengeance or grievance. And I do think it's going to be an outsider. People are hungry for an outsider. That's what I'm bringing to the table.
How do you contend with what happened 2 weeks ago and the calculus that may have changed for your campaign? Donald Trump is now facing charges. The polling was a lot tighter when you first announced. Now Trump is in front in every single poll, and I'm not trying to be deliberately pro-Trump here, but every single poll has got Trump ahead right now.
No doubt he's the front runner in this, and I think this is going to be a two-person race. It's going to be between me and Donald Trump, the two non-professional politicians in this race.
Vivek, you're a very wealthy guy. Could you self-fund this race if you had to?
Absolutely. I already kicked this off with an 8-figure contribution myself to kick this off. That allowed me to skip begging donors for money, which is what most professional politicians do.
So a lot of Republicans are concerned about this. And you know, polls are tough to read, certainly this early in the game. But why isn't Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, even Tim Scott polling better head-to-head against Joe Biden in 2024? Does that concern you?
It doesn't concern me right now because, you know what, there was another poll, record dissatisfaction amongst Americans with the direction in the economy and the future direction of the economy. So I think it's clear that Joe Biden's presidency has been disastrous. I think a lot of the uncertainty about who's going to carry the torch forward in the Republican Party is what accounts for those lower numbers. But once we have certainty to say that, most importantly, this is what we stand for and why we stand for it, and that's what's going to come out of this primary process. I'm leading the way on that debate. Then we pick who's going to best carry that agenda forward. I think we have an opportunity to defeat Joe Biden in a landslide election.
I thought this was fascinating. Yep. The World Economic Forum named you, and this is without your consent, by the way, as a young global leader, even though you've been really vocal about criticizing the World Economic Forum. You've kept your name, or you've allowed them to keep your name, at least on their website. Your picture, by the way, is still up there. What's your next move here?
Oh, actually, I did not allow them to. They named me without my consent. I repeatedly told them to take it down. And I think it's a devious game they play, taking one of their fiercest critics, but then defanging that opposition by putting my face and name on their website without my consent. I decided they need to be held accountable. That is why I actually filed a lawsuit this week against the World Economic Forum. Nobody's going to take me on or trick me without actually being held accountable. I think we need real fighters who are willing to stand with the spine. And for me, look, I don't need the money from a lawsuit or anything else. What I need is to make sure that people who do bad deeds are held accountable. I stand firmly against the World Economic Forum's agenda, the globalist agenda that I have been probably one of the leading, if not leading, crusaders in America against over the last several years. The last thing I'm going to let them do is to work to their advantage by defanging me, placing me on their website without permission. That's what we're taking them to court, which I'm proud that we actually filed this week.
Best of luck, and thanks so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.